Part 1. The Road to Funny Bones. The camping trip had failed hours ago. Nobody officially said it out loud, but everyone inside the camper silently agreed the moment the rain started pouring through the trees and strange noises circled the tents all night long. By the time they packed up the next morning, the entire trip felt cursed. The camper rumbled down the empty highway while endless woods blurred past the windows like dark waves. In the driver's seat, Evan kept both hands firmly on the wheel, shoulders tense beneath his hoodie. He was the oldest of the group by barely 2 years, but sometimes it felt like 10. Quiet. Responsible. The kind of person who planned things weeks ahead and secretly blamed himself when they fell apart. Folded beside him sat the untouched itinerary he had spent nearly a month organizing. Hiking spots. Campfire activities. Fishing locations. Backup campsites. None of it mattered now. Behind him, the others laughed weakly through exhaustion. Tyler sat sprawled across one of the camper benches, long legs stretched out carelessly while Nina leaned against him scrolling mindlessly through videos on her phone. The two of them had been seeing each other for months now, though neither ever called it dating. Tyler liked things easy. Nina liked avoiding conversations about feelings. Somehow it worked. Most of the time. Maya sat closest to the front beside Evan, occasionally glancing over at him with quiet concern. She always carried herself like the emotional center of the group. Protective. Patient. The type of person everyone unconsciously drifted toward when things felt wrong. Even now, she could tell Evan was disappointed. "You okay?" she asked softly. Evan shrugged without taking his eyes off the road. "Yeah," he muttered. "Just thought we'd actually do more." Tyler laughed from the back. "Brother, the second I heard something moving outside my tent, I mentally checked out." Nina smirked tiredly. "I still think sleeping outdoors was a form of punishment." That finally pulled a small smile from Evan. Only Eli seemed fully awake. He leaned dramatically between the seats holding his phone like a documentary host. "To be fair," he announced, "I thought this trip was gonna make incredible content." Eli treated every moment of his life like it belonged online. Conversations became clips. Arguments became live stream stories. Random strangers became potential followers. He wasn't annoying about it most days, just constantly searching for something bigger waiting to happen. But apparently surviving in nature requires, he paused thoughtfully, actual survival skills. The camper erupted into exhausted laughter again. For a few minutes, things felt normal. Then Eli suddenly sat upright. "Oh my God, wait." Everyone looked toward him. He zoomed in on the map on his phone, eyes widening with excitement. "Guys, we are near that abandoned circus place." Tyler groaned immediately. "Absolutely not." But Eli barely heard him anymore. "Come on," he said quickly. "Just 5 minutes. I need pictures there." He turned toward Evan. "You don't mind stopping, right?" Evan sighed quietly. "Just tell me where I'm going." 20 minutes later, the camper rolled slowly into the cracked parking lot of the abandoned property. At first glance, the place barely resembled a circus at all. There were no massive striped tents, no rides, no bricked attractions. Instead, it looked like a forgotten roadside attraction left to rot in the woods. Small collapsed tents sat scattered around the property like graves. Torn fabric fluttered weakly in the wind. Rusted poles leaned crookedly from the ground. At the center stood a dusty brick building covered in faded cardboard clown cutouts. Or at least they used to be clowns. Most of their faces had peeled away from years of weather exposure, leaving warped smiles and empty white eyes staring endlessly into the parking lot. One figure stood taller than the others. A ringmaster. Beneath him hung a wooden sign painted in thick red letters. "Please do not enter." The paint looked fresh. Too fresh. Nobody spoke. The air itself felt wrong somehow. Heavy. Silent. Like even the woods surrounding the property were holding their breath. Except Eli. "Oh, this is perfect." He jumped out of the camper before it fully stopped. The others followed slower. Uneasy. Tyler glanced around nervously. "Okay, yeah," he muttered. "Hate this already." But Eli was already moving toward the entrance with his phone raised. "Come on," he called back. "We are already here." The closer they got to the building, the tighter everyone's stomach felt. Every instinct whispered the same thing. Leave. Nina finally stopped walking. "Can't you just take pictures outside and go?" she asked. "There's probably nothing even in there." The second she finished speaking. Static. A loud crackle exploded from somewhere overhead. Everyone jumped. An old rusted speaker hanging near the entrance flickered violently to life. "Hey there, folks." The distorted voice crackled through layers of static. "Welcome to Where You'll Have a Blast With." More static swallowed the sentence. Then suddenly, "And don't forget, Mr. Funnybones." Silence. Then one final pop from the speaker. "Come inside." And somehow, against every good instinct they had, they did. Part 2. The Big Top. The inside smelled like wet carpet and mold. Flashlights swept across an empty ticket booth covered in dust. Beside it sat a moldy snack bar with faded menu boards still hanging overhead. Popcorn, $2. Cotton candy, $1. The prices somehow made the place feel worse. Like families once stood there laughing. To the right, 2 hallway entrances marked restrooms disappeared into darkness. The doors were gone. Not broken. Gone. Like something had ripped them clean off the hinges. Tyler immediately looked away. Nope. Meanwhile, Eli looked completely mesmerized. "This is insane," he whispered while filming everything. "Guys, this place is untouched." Then his flashlight caught something deeper inside the lobby. A stairwell. Leading underground. Everyone stopped moving. The staircase disappeared into total blackness. Nina shook her head immediately. "Absolutely not." Maya nodded beside her. "We should go back." "Fine," Eli said dramatically. He pointed his flashlight toward the darkness below. "You guys can go back to the camper." Then he grinned nervously. "But this is real content." Nobody moved. Nobody wanted to go downstairs. But nobody wanted to be the first person to leave either. One by one, flashlight beams flickered on. Together, they descended. The staircase felt endless. Concrete steps stretched downward forever while the air grew colder with every level. Nobody spoke anymore. Only the sound of shoes scraping concrete echoed through the tunnel. Then finally, the stairs opened into something massive. An underground circus arena. Dust covered everything. Rows of scattered chairs circled a small performance stage while old attraction props littered the floor. Oversized bowling pins. Painted barrels. Broken unicycles. Rusted trapeze equipment dangling overhead. The hanging wires swayed slightly in the darkness. Eli slowly turned in a circle, smiling in disbelief. "See," he laughed nervously. "We made it." But even his smile looked forced now. Trying to break the tension, he handed Maya his phone and jumped onto the stage. He mimed fighting invisible wind before riding a rusted tricycle across the stage doing an exaggerated Charlie Chaplin impression. To everyone's surprise, Tyler actually laughed. Even Nina smiled. Eli grabbed 3 oversized bowling pins dramatically. "Ladies and gentlemen." One slipped instantly. Clang. The pin smashed directly into his forehead before crashing onto the stage floor. Eli rubbed his forehead awkwardly. "Okay," he muttered. "Cool. Awesome." Then Tyler noticed the doors. 3 heavy metal doors built directly into the arena walls. All wrapped tightly in chains. "These probably lead backstage," Tyler whispered. "Dressing rooms, maybe." Eli tugged experimentally on one of the chains. "If we can get in there," he said, "we get the footage and leave immediately." Clank. Silence. Then, a low snarling sound answered from behind the door. Evan stepped forward instantly. "Okay, nope," he snapped. "I don't know what the hell that thing is, and I don't want to find out." For the first time all night, Eli actually looked shaken. Tyler nodded immediately. "I agree. Let's go." One by one, they started backing toward the stairs. But Eli didn't move. Still staring at the chain door, he slowly raised his phone again. The screen light reflected across his nervous smile. He rattled the chains harder. Clang, clang, clang. Everything stopped. Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Eli's smile vanished instantly. The voice crackled softly through the darkness again. What's wrong? A small chuckle followed. Didn't you read the sign? Silence. Then, it's your favorite funny fellow. The chains creaked softly. Mr. Funnybones. Nina grabbed Tyler's arm tighter. The voice sounded happy. Too happy. It's been so long since anyone visited. A pause. So long since anyone performed here. Eli slowly lifted the phone closer to his face. His voice trembled with fear and excitement. Guys. He whispered into the mic. This is 100% real. Then the voice perked up again. Oh, Eli. A giggle echoed behind the door. Are those your friends? Another pause. Your fans? Something heavy dragged slowly across the floor behind the door. Please, allow me to introduce myself properly. The color drained from Eli's face. Then, bang. The door shook violently. Childish laughter exploded through the arena. Wait for Mr. Funnybones. Bang. The metal dented inward. Oh. Bang. I hit my funny bone. Bang. But don't worry. The laughter became hysterical. One more should do the trick. The entire group turned and ran.
Part 3. Playback.
Halfway up the staircase. Bang. The entire stairwell shook violently. Then came loud childish laughter echoing upward from below. Oh no. Mr. Funnybones giggled. I didn't know we were playing hide and seek. The laughter echoed wildly through the concrete tunnel. I guess that means. A pause. MIT. Then silence. For one horrible second, all they could hear was their own breathing. Then the snarling started. Wet. Animalistic. Fast. Something slammed violently against the stairs below them. Then again. Then again. Heavy limbs smashing against concrete, while something charged upward impossibly fast through the darkness. Go, go, go. Tyler shoved Eli forward hard. Flashlights bounced wildly across the walls. Maya nearly fell. Nina was crying now. The snarling grew louder. Closer. Eli glanced behind him. And slipped. His phone flew from his hand and skidded loudly down the concrete steps. No. Tyler grabbed Eli violently by the hoodie. Forget the damn phone. But Eli twisted free anyway. For one split second, he dove backward and snatched the phone back up. The snarling exploded somewhere directly below them. Way too close. The group burst through the stairwell door back into the lobby. Tyler grabbed a rusted trash bin and hurled it behind them. Crash. Metal clattered down the stairs. For one hopeful second. Silence. Then the sound of the trash bin being thrown violently back up the stairwell echoed behind them. Everyone screamed. And sprinted for the camper. The vehicle tore down the highway minutes later. Nobody spoke. Everyone sat frozen in shock while the camper rattled violently through potholes and darkness. Nina cried quietly into her hands. Tyler kept checking the rear windows every few seconds like he expected something to still be chasing them through the woods. Evan drove in complete silence, jaw clenched painfully tight. Beside him, Maya stared ahead gripping the dashboard with white knuckles. Neither of them ever wanted to think about that place again. Only Eli moved. Sitting quietly in the back of the camper illuminated by nothing but his phone screen, he replayed the footage over and over again. The stage. The laughter. The chains. The voice. Each replay slowly changed his expression. Fear fading into curiosity. Then, he paused the video, rewound it slightly, and froze. Deep in the darkness behind the audience chairs, someone had already been sitting there, watching them. Long before Mr. Funnybones ever spoke from behind the door, Eli slowly zoomed in. The figure looked directly into the camera and smiled.